We begin with breaking news involving a footy star caught out in a disgraceful video.
The NRL is tonight reeling from not one, but two bombshells.
Two NRL stars are now facing jail.
The NRL has been rocked by a new scandal.
In breaking news, trouble former NRL star.
Breaking news, the rape trial of NRL star.
NRL, I hate to say it, but hit by another drug scandal.
What has more drama, excitement and intrigue than The Bachelor, Married at First Sight and The Amazing Race combined? That's right, it's the NRL. Every few years, an NRL star will do something so ridiculous it makes headlines around the world. NRL misbehaving players and code-destroying headlines go together like peanut butter and jelly. If there is something the NRL has tried to shake but never will, it is the reputation that some players carry with them. You know what I'm talking about. Just ask those who don't watch rugby league and their thoughts on rugby league players. Druggies, alcoholics, grubs, woman abusers and more. It sounds like a casting call for a Scarface remix rather than an NRL roster.
Say hello to my little friend!
Beyond the pitch, there are bound to be enough dramatic storylines played out between players, coaches, their families and fans to fill up the scripts of a real-life soap opera. The NRL's off-field narratives are nothing short of blockbuster material. So in this video, we're embarking on a countdown journey through the top 10 NRL scandals that shocked the world. Number 10. Who let the dogs out? Number 10 on the list takes us back to the infamous Bulldogs Mad Monday celebrations. It was a day that left fans utterly shocked and the NRL in trouble. CCTV footage captured shocking behaviour that left nothing to the imagination. Literally. NRL CEO at the time, Todd Greenberg, a former Bulldogs CEO himself, was absolutely furious. He sought to draw a line in the sand of a player misbehaviour, making it clear that such antics would not be tolerated. As a result, the Canterbury Bulldogs were slapped with an unprecedented $250,000 fine, setting a new record for the NRL's strict disciplinary actions. The incident unfolded when images of players stripping naked, spewing up and passing out on the street were published by media outlets. This scandalous behaviour diverted attention from the first week of the finals, casting a shadow over the sport. The Mad Monday event had been organised by the club itself, making it even worse, with senior officials like coach Dean Pay and general manager Gareth Holmes in attendance at the Harbour View Hotel in Sydney's Rocks. NRL fans were left in disbelief as Greenberg made it clear that the club's failure to manage the event and the players' behaviour had embarrassed themselves, their club and the entire game. Several Bulldogs players, including Adam Elliott and Asapeli Feni, were hit with hefty fines, each expected to pay $15,000 for their involvement in the incident. They were charged with willful and obscene exposure and appeared in Downing Centre local court. Deputy Chief Magistrate Jane Motley subsequently placed both men on 2-year conditional release orders without recording convictions.
Sat down to myself, looked around. I was like, fuck. I'm in prison right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? So.
9. Manu Vatuvei's tries to meth pipes. Affectionately nicknamed the Beast by fans, the former Warriors star and reality TV celebrity had it all for most of his career. But once the fame, money, and regimented lifestyle disappeared, he struggled to cope. It could be said that sport let him down by not preparing him for life after the game, but the point could also be made that rugby league kept him on the straight and narrow for so many years. Vatuvei played 28 tests for the Kiwis and won the World Cup in 2008. He scored 152 tries in 226 games for the Warriors from 2004 to 2017, but by the end of his time with the club, he was no longer at NRL level. His move to Super League wasn't successful either. He tried his hand at boxing, a route numerous league players seemed to go down at the end of their careers, but the discovery of a cyst on his brain in December 2018 brought an early end to that. He entered and won Dancing with the Stars. However, he still wasn't willing to accept his sporting days were over. In 2018, he stated in an interview that he had friends who were gang members, and sometime after, Vatuvei was clearly heading down the wrong path. A year later, he was charged with the importation of methamphetamine. He fought to keep his name secret, but name suppression was declined by both the District Court and High Court. In 2022, he was sentenced to 3 years and 7 months in prison for importing at least $200,000 worth of methamphetamine from India. Days before suppression was due to lapse, Vatuvei outed himself on Instagram.
to get something off my chest. But in 2019, I was charged with importation, possession and supply of methamphetamine.
8. Josh Reynolds caught in a tale of lies. Reynolds went through the ringer in his public separation from his model ex-girlfriend following an appearance on Channel 9's 60 Minutes, where they spoke out against each other. The story involved accusations of fake pregnancies and violence during a rocky relationship and messy split, including extraordinary video footage of Reynolds yelling at his former partner during a tirade in which she claimed she was pushed against a wall.
I want you out now. I want you out now. I'm gonna flip it. I swear to God, I'm gonna flip it.
Why? What did I do?
You still remember me? Like I'm a fucking convict. You fucking piece of shit. Fucking dog. What the fuck would I do shit like that? Why?
Are you serious?
Dude,
all I done
was scare the out of me. Scared me.
What?
And
by walking in?
You walked in, you fucking barged in, you lying.
Oh, wowee.
Are you serious, Mark?
Reynolds was accused of assaulting Del Busso, whose real name is Donna Prosca, but the charges were dropped. Reynolds responded to Del Busso's claims that her lies didn't hurt anyone in an Instagram post where he wrote, "White lies are sweet, right?" Del Busso denied she faked 3 pregnancies. Reynolds' legal team argued in court that Del Busso faked 3 pregnancies and duped him out of thousands of dollars over a web of lies, including the false death of her own mother. The first time Del Busso told Reynolds she was pregnant was following a one-night stand. She said she miscarried twice and terminated the 3rd pregnancy due to the pair's souring relationship. But Reynolds said he had a suspicion things weren't right from the outset when Del Busso struggled to provide an ultrasound. In his interview with 60 Minutes, Reynolds said, "I feel silly, but she played with my emotions."
I was rattled because 1, we weren't together. 2, you don't necessarily want to have a kid from a one-night stand. And 3, was I ready for that?
Dropped into the Kimberley in North Australia. And the only thing I can do is to drink my own pee. And I'm expecting it to be pretty horrible. That really is pretty horrible.
7. Todd Carney's bubbler bombshell. Despite Todd Carney having a successful NRL career and winning the prestigious Dally M Award in 2010, it was a photo that surfaced in 2014 that truly tarnished his reputation. Yes, that photo of him at a urinal, peeing into his mouth.
Didn't know that it would ever surface like this, and to receive the message on Saturday night was gut-wrenching, and it made me feel sick straight away.
Todd Carney had the NRL world at his feet, but had to watch it all go down the drain due to a social media post of his infamous bubbler incident at Northies in Cronulla. The incident saw him sacked from the Cronulla Sharks, with the club saying that the photograph of Todd does not meet the values and standards the club is looking to uphold and take into the future. Carney, it seems, is filled with regret over throwing his career away in such a spectacularly stupid fashion in an NRL off-season that has seen several NRL players at the centre of much more serious incidents than the one that ended his own career. Even before his notorious viral photo, his bad boy antics led to him being dropped by the Canberra Raiders and the Sydney Roosters, thanks to a string of off-field misdemeanours.
Even WizKid Todd Carney can use it.
Yeah, piece of
The new iPhone app from Sportsbet. It's foolproof.
6. Mitchell Pearce cockapoodle do. At the end of the 2010 season, former Raiders star Joel Monahan attracted unwanted global attention after a photo was circulated of him simulating a lewd act with a dog. So when Mitchell Pearce essentially combined both Carney and Monahan's actions while on an Australia Day bender, it was only natural that the world's media would take notice. An intoxicated Pearce can be seen in a video shown forcing an unwanted kiss on a female, who rejects his advances and clearly states, "I am a lesbian," before he kisses her. Pearce then turned his attention to the woman's pooch, announcing, "Oh, that dog, I don't have a sexuality." Pearce, who was shirtless but wearing shorts, is then seen to simulate questionable acts with the dog. The woman tells him to stop, but Pearce continues before the woman takes the dog away and tells him to leave. Pearce again states what he would like to do to the animal. "I want to... your dog. I don't even care anymore." The woman then suggests Pearce had also urinated on her couch.
He's Aboriginal.
don't care. It's not Redfern. We're not claiming land rights here. Get out. Out. This guy's being a couch and trying to put it on. Out.
There we go, man. I gotta put you out there, man. On animals and that. Yeah, let's follow that.
The story made headlines in countries that would hardly realise rugby league is a sport. Swedish national tabloid ran the headline, "Star simulates X with a dog." The rugby world is in shock after one of its most bizarre scandals ever exploded, the report read. RSPCA New South Wales said the organisation was appalled by Pearce's act, but no charges would be laid. Bella the Pooch died aged 15 late at the end of 2016, with her owner paying emotional tribute on social media.
Yeah, I'd just like to I would like to reservedly apologise to everyone for my actions over the last couple of days. My behaviour was unacceptable. I'm embarrassed to take full responsibility for my actions. I acknowledge that I have a problem with alcohol and something I need to address. It's not an excuse, but a realisation that I finally need help. Together with the club, I'm working on a solution for me to address these issues that'll come out in the next couple of days. I just want to thank everyone for turning up, and I apologise again.
Five, Harawira Naira and Okunbor's schoolgirl scandal. Corey Harawira Naira, along with at the time teammate Jaden Okunbor, was sacked by the Bulldogs and deregistered by the NRL after bringing a pair of schoolgirls back to the team hotel during a pre-season trip ahead of their trial against Canberra in 2020. The career of Okunbor looked to be all but over after a series of Snapchat images emerged of the winger seemingly asking a 16-year-old schoolgirl for intimate photos. In one image, Okunbor asked the schoolgirl to show tits before sending her a shirtless photo of himself. The photos were sent to the Herald by a friend and former student of the school that the girl attends. The friend said the images were sent to the 16-year-old involved in the incident. Both the girls who attended the Bulldogs hotel were above the age of consent, and there was no criminal investigation. While the players did not break the law, they did break the club's policy, which states women aren't to be brought back to the hotel. The Snapchat exchange followed an Instagram conversation. The exchange began with her asking Okunbor, "Having a good stalk?" To which Okunbor replies, "Yeah, had to have a good look, what are we doing tonight?" The girl then replies, "You," with a winking emoji before Okunbor asks, "We're sick you at the school today." The scandal cost the club a $2 million major sponsorship deal with family restaurant chain Riche's, leaving the Bulldogs jersey naked for half the season. However, the pair have since had their registrations reinstated after being heard by the NRL Appeals Committee, instead handed bans and fines. 4. Blake Ferguson's notorious incident. Once a regular player for the Parramatta Eels in the NRL, Blake Ferguson's career took a turn for the worst. His troubles began with an ill-fated stint in Japanese rugby union with the NEC Green Rockets. However, this journey ended abruptly when he found himself behind bars in Japan due to a shocking incident. In this unfortunate incident, Ferguson allegedly punched a patron at a restaurant located in the red light district of Tokyo. What made matters worse was the discovery of cocaine in his possession during the arrest. These events led to his immediate sacking from the NEC Green Rockets, putting his professional career on thin ice. Ferguson spent a month behind bars in Japan, his freedom curtailed by the consequences of his nose. The repercussions of this incident extended beyond his personal circumstances, as his arrest and subsequent sacking threatened the Green Rockets' very existence. Discussions within the club centered around the possibility of shutting down operations entirely. Fortunately, a decision was ultimately made to continue, but not without addressing the issue head-on, or should I say nose-on. The NEC Green Rockets responded with a remarkable 506-word statement expressing their deep regret and shame regarding the incident. They also used this statement as an opportunity to underscore their commitment to stamping out drugs in both Japanese culture and the sport of rugby.
Japanese rugby will not be happy at all. He won't play a game there. Once the court system's finished with him, they'll send him home. He'll never play for the Wallabies, and I can't see any NRL club touching him.
Into the betting plunge.
So what do you think of that tackle?
Like the first decision, I thought it was very touch and go. There was two of us in the tackle.
3. Ryan Tandy's betting blunder. The sad truth is that Ryan Tandy was never going to be remembered for his rugby league playing ability. He was a journeyman, one who won a grand final with Melbourne in 2009, perhaps destined to become little more than the subject of a pub trivia question. That is until August 2010, when Tandy became embroiled in a spot-fixing scandal that rocked rugby league. He was to become the only person to be convicted over that betting scandal and was effectively banned from the NRL for life. Tandy played just 36 NRL matches in 9 seasons for 5 clubs. It was alleged that the then 29-year-old prop, who was enjoying the best season of his career, had deliberately turned over possession and conceded a penalty under the opposition post to aid punters who had bet on first score of the match being a Cowboys penalty goal. An investigation was launched after betting agencies reported that 95% of wagers on the match were for that option. However, no one ever received a payout, as Cowboys halfback Anthony Watts took a quick tap and winger Ty Williams scored in the corner. Sadly, it was probably the only moment of Tandy's career that most people can recall. Had it not been for that incident, Tandy may have gone down as just another rogue who played rugby league. It was known he liked to bet and had accumulated gambling debts that seemed to lead to his life spiraling out of control. Increasingly, Tandy was to end up in the headlines for the wrong reasons. In truth, he was never likely to end up on the back pages for any other reason. There were stories of him punching a tab machine in an eastern suburbs hotel when yet another sure thing had failed to salute, rumours of recreational drug use and irrational behaviour, and then the bizarre allegations that he was the hired muscle in the intimidation and kidnapping of a man over an alleged drug debt numbering in the tens of thousands of dollars. Whether Tandy's actions became more erratic as his post-football life became increasingly dire, or whether the spotlight merely illuminated existing behaviour is hard to tell. The truth is probably somewhere in between. In 2014, Tandy was found dead reportedly of a drug overdose.
They have the password because you gave them the password?
Yes.
And why would you do that?
For them to put money in the account.
His wife Ruth Fowler and their 9-year-old son Henry will never forget.
He has never reached out to us.
He's never reached out to us personally in any form, in any way.
It's obviously something that's going to affect us for the rest of our lives.
2. Matt Lodge's expense night of madness. Nearly 1 year after a New York judge ordered Australian professional rugby player Matthew Lodge to pay over $1.2 million in damages to his victim as a result of the violent attack, the NRL announced that Lodge will return to play for the Brisbane Broncos. In the early hours of October the 16th, 2015, Mr. Lodge followed 2 people back to their New York City apartment building in which they were staying while on vacation, and began to threaten their lives in an alcohol-induced rage, telling them, "Tonight is the night you're going to die." He then forcibly entered the building in which Mr. Cartwright and his partner, Miss Fowler, lived with their then 9-year-old son. Once inside, Lodge proceeded to violently attack Mr. Cartwright and locked himself in their apartment, breaking furniture and even punching a hole in the door of the bathroom where Miss Fowler had retreated to protect the couple's child. Years later, the child is still traumatized by the event, according to the couple. It's pretty heartbreaking to think that this man might become a role model for Australian children given what he did to us. Miss Fowler said in an interview with the Sydney Morning Herald. In an interview with 9 News, Mr. Cartwright said he was disappointed that Mr. Lodge was allowed to return to the NRL without having shown any remorse for his actions. "We don't want Matthew Lodge not to play. You're allowed to have a second chance. You're allowed redemption. But you can't receive redemption unless you feel a sense of remorse, a sense of responsibility," Mr. Cartwright said. In 2018, Lodge took out a bank loan to pay the victims of his violent 2015 New York rampage.
Want Matthew Lodge not to play? That's not really what we're looking for. We're looking for him to take responsibilities for his actions, to have some justice in this. You're allowed to have a second chance. You're allowed redemption. You can't receive redemption unless you feel a sense of remorse, a sense of responsibility.
I would just ask Todd Greenberg and the National Rugby League what they want the league to be known for. Is it an organization that protects women, that respects families and cares about the well-being of its fans? Or is it an organization that's willing to protect any of its players, no matter what they do, as long as they help the bottom line?
Comfortable with your decision to register Matthew Lodge?
Yeah, and I am very comfortable, albeit I understand that it will polarise opinion in our community.
The pub test is that Todd Greenberg wouldn't be so lenient with Lodge if he'd broken into his house, bashed the tripe out of him, threatened his wife and his son.
And I understand why people would pitch it like that, I really do. And trust me when I tell you that it wasn't something that I arrived at overnight. But what I'd say to you is this, that Matthew Lodge made a very grave error of judgment some years ago. A very poor decision, and no one at the Rugby League, in the NRL, nor in the Broncos, condones any of that behaviour. In saying that though, Rugby League is a sport that provides a second chance to people. Rugby League is a sport that helps people grow up. It is also a sport that allows young men to come in and be better back within their communities. And I think that's the opportunity with Matthew Lodge. Ultimately though, the decision and accountability rests with him, and he needs to take this second chance and do everything he can with it.
Are you worried about Joe? What do you make of his verdict?
Yeah, I'll talk in a minute. I'd rather go to jail knowing I spoke the truth than be a free man living a lie. I showed up from the start. It's unfortunate, it's disappointing. But at the end of the day, if that's what they come to the decision, I respect that, and I'm back on the 6th of May, I think.
Do you know the meaning of consent? Are you worried about yourself for jail? How will you prepare yourself for jail, Jared?
Been found guilty twice.
Did I lie? Did I lie? Did I lie? That's factual evidence.
Number 1. Jared Hayne, the bottom feeder. Jared Hayne's spectacular fall from grace landed him in the depths of New South Wales' oldest prison, where he was branded a bottom feeder, a term typically reserved for sex offenders, murderers, and fallen celebrities. In his first week behind bars, the former NRL star endured a shower of apples hurled by fellow inmates who recognised him. His lifestyle reduced to a cramped cell, furnished with nothing more than a metal bunk he shared with a fellow inmate beside an open toilet. This stark reality was the result of his conviction for sexual assault in May 2021. Inside his cell, Hayne longed for a glimpse of the outside world, requesting Foxtel to watch the NRL. However, he was met with a blunt response. "You're in jail. No inmate gets Foxtel." Laundry service also a rare luxury, with washing happening only once a week. The once league superstar and double Dally M winner had embarked on an NFL dream with the San Francisco 49ers, only for it to crumble. In 2016, he abruptly left the 49ers to pursue a spot in Fiji's Olympic Rugby Sevens side, following accusations of sexual assault by a young woman who had been blackout drunk. While US police lacked sufficient evidence to charge him, Hayne settled the woman's civil suit in August 2019. Returning to the NRL, Hayne's career never regained its former glory, marred by another sexual assault accusation in 2018 that sealed his fate with the NRL. He was on the cusp of signing a new contract when his world unravelled. After serving 9 months in jail, following a guilty verdict that carried a sentence of 5 years and 9 months, Hayne saw his convictions overturned. On his birthday, Jared Hayne walked out of Cooma Correctional Centre, wearing a triumphant smile as he passed waiting media. However, Hayne faced another 2 trials over the allegations, with the first ending in a hung jury in late 2020. In 2023, he received a 4-year and 9-month sentence for the sexual assault of a woman in her Newcastle home in 2018, making him eligible for parole in less than 2 years. But the prison saga took another grim turn as Hayne fell victim to a Bitcoin scam orchestrated by a fellow inmate, resulting in a staggering loss of over 780,000 Australian dollars. In the darkest chapters of Hayne's life, he went from being a celebrated NRL star to an inmate navigating the treacherous waters of incarceration and financial deception, forever etching his name in a story of profound downfall. And there you have it, our countdown of the top 10 NRL scandals that made headlines worldwide. These stories remind us that off-field dramas can be just as gripping as the games themselves. As we conclude this journey, we're left with a clear message. Sports are filled with unexpected twists and turns, both on and off the field. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more intriguing stories from the world of